The night was heavy with tension as Elijah Carter stared at his laptop screen. The email had no subject line. The sender was anonymous. His fingers hovered over the mouse. A deep breath, a single click. The file opened, and what he saw made his stomach knot instantly. Names, dozens of them, celebrities, politicians, tech moguls, royalty. And right there, smack in the middle of the list, was a name no one could have predicted: Oprah Winfrey. Elijah leaned back in his chair, his heart thumping in his chest like a drum. His hands trembled slightly. This wasn't just another Hollywood scandal. This was something darker, deeper, a world few dared to acknowledge even existed. "No, this can't be real," he muttered. The file was labeled VIP Guest List, Private Diddy Events, attached to a series of cryptic folders. Every instinct screamed at him that this was dangerous, deadly even, but his journalistic hunger was louder. Before diving deeper, he grabbed his phone and dialed. After a few rings, a tired yet sharp voice answered. "Elijah, it's 2 a.m. You better have a good reason. Vanessa, I need you. Now." Something huge just landed on my lap. Vanessa Moore didn't hesitate. She was the best cyber activist he knew, bold, brilliant, and reckless when it came to exposing the elite. Within minutes, she was connected remotely to his system. As the files unfolded, a silence grew between them. Each name brought a fresh wave of disbelief. The deeper they dug, the darker it became. Beneath the surface were encrypted documents, private photos, financial ledgers, and communication logs that hinted at a twisted web of influence, manipulation, and secrecy. And then, Oprah. Her name wasn't just there, it was highlighted. "This doesn't make sense," Vanessa whispered. "Oprah? No way, she's America's sweetheart, a philanthropist, a role model. That's why this is so explosive. Either it's real or someone wants it to look real. Either way, it's a bomb." Elijah clenched his fists. The first thing any seasoned investigator learns is simple. The higher the profile, the bigger the fallout. If this was true, it wasn't just about celebrity gossip. It was about the rot beneath the glitter of fame, about power structures built on secrecy and silence. If you're watching this, Elijah's inner voice rang as he imagined the world hearing this story. Subscribe now, because what you're about to discover will change the way you see the world forever. He snapped back to the screen. The document detailed events hosted in secret mansions, coded as charity galas, wellness retreats, or exclusive networking nights. But the attachments told another story, one of after-hours activities far removed from innocent networking. "Look at this." Vanessa's voice cut the silence. "Check the dates. These are from years back, but some are recent. 2023, even early 2024. This isn't ancient history, it's still happening." "Holy..." Elijah couldn't finish the sentence. The deeper they went, the more the fear crept in. This wasn't just a list. It was evidence, proof of a shadow society operating in plain sight. And yet, the biggest question loomed heavier with every passing second. Was Oprah complicit? Or was her name planted among the guilty to send a message, or to serve as a distraction? Suddenly, Elijah's screen flickered. His email shut down. His Wi-Fi signal dropped to 0. No. They know. They already know. Panic surged. Vanessa cursed on the other end. "Elijah, disconnect, now. Someone's inside your system. Wipe the drive. Pull the plug." His hands scrambled. He yanked the Ethernet cable, powered down the modem, and shut his laptop. His heart raced, but the damage was done. Whoever sent the file wasn't the only one watching, and the war for the truth had just begun. The sun had barely risen when Elijah arrived at Vanessa's downtown apartment, breathless, gripping his backpack like a lifeline. She pulled him inside without a word, bolting the door behind him. Her living room was a maze of monitors, wires, hard drives, and stacks of printed documents. The smell of burnt coffee lingered in the air. "We don't have much time," Vanessa said, typing furiously. "I've cloned the files. They tried to nuke your system, but I got most of it. Now we figure out what's real and what's not." They sat shoulder to shoulder, scanning the list again. It wasn't just Oprah. There were names from Silicon Valley, Wall Street, the music industry, even senators and foreign dignitaries. Some names made perfect sense, figures long whispered about in conspiracy forums. Others, like Oprah, shocked them to the core. This isn't just a guest list, Vanessa muttered. It's a map of influence. Look here, next to every name there are symbols, codes, levels of involvement or types of access. Elijah frowned, leaning closer. Some symbols were check marks, others were red dots, triangles or stars. Next to Oprah's name was a gold triangle. What does that mean? He asked. No idea yet, but look, there's a separate folder titled Special Clearance. Only a few names are cross-listed there. Oprah's one of them. Silence fell. For the first time, Elijah felt something deeper than fear. Doubt. Was this the truth? Or a masterfully crafted lie designed to destroy? We need context, he said. We can't just blast this online, not without knowing what it actually means. Vanessa nodded. Agreed. If we publish half-truths, we become part of the machine we're fighting. They decided to start digging into Diddy's history, the man at the center of the storm. His career was a glittering parade of success, music mogul, entrepreneur, cultural icon. But behind the platinum records and fashion lines, rumors had always swirled, whispers of wild parties, coercion, and darker games played behind mansion gates. There's something else, Vanessa said, clicking through a series of archived chat logs. Multiple messages between Diddy's staff referenced the circle, like a secret inner group. The circle, Elijah repeated, his mind racing. One log caught his eye. Ensure guests with gold triangles are escorted to level 3 after midnight. Standard discretion applies. Level 3? Elijah asked, a chill running down his spine. Vanessa's face paled. Yeah, this wasn't just champagne and music. As the pieces connected, a more terrifying picture emerged. Level 3 wasn't a place. It was a condition, a boundary past which anything was possible. No rules, no limits, no consequences. But still, the Oprah question lingered like a thorn. Was her presence merely symbolic, a power figure invited for legitimacy, or was she entangled in something far worse? Then the screen glitched. A pop-up, plain text, no source. Stop digging, last warning. Both froze. Oh my God, Vanessa whispered, yanking cables. They're in, they're watching us in real time. Her monitors flickered. Another message appeared. Files corrupted. Access terminated. No, I backed it up. But as she checked, every folder, every file vanished one by one, dissolving before their eyes. Backup drives, cloud storage, nothing survived. Elijah felt his throat tighten. They're erasing everything. They're cleaning house. And then his phone buzzed, a single text. No number. You've seen enough. His blood ran cold. The walls felt like they were closing in. Vanessa stood, pacing. We're not stopping this. This is bigger than us now. We need allies. We need witnesses. Elijah nodded, swallowing the fear. If they think this scare will stop us, they've just made the biggest mistake of their lives. But deep down, both knew the storm had only just begun. By the next morning, Elijah and Vanessa were ghosts. They ditched their phones, wiped every traceable device, and slipped into the underground network of the city. Borrowed apartments, VPNs in foreign countries, cash-only transactions. The only connection to the world they allowed was through an encrypted laptop connected to a dark web network Vanessa had built years ago. They weren't just journalists anymore. They were fugitives of information. We need someone from the inside, Elijah said. Someone who was there, who saw it all. Vanessa nodded. I've been in contact with a former bodyguard, worked Diddy's security detail for years. He disappeared after a scandal in 2022. But if he's alive, I can find him. Hours later, they were sitting in the back of a quiet auto shop on the outskirts of Los Angeles. The man before them was built like a wall, his eyes tired but alert. His name was Marcus DeLorme. I don't talk to reporters, he growled. We're not here to burn you, Elijah said. We're here to stop something monstrous. Marcus hesitated, then slowly nodded. I've seen things I wish I could forget. Parties that weren't parties. Rules that didn't apply. And the circle, yeah, it's real. Invitation only. Level 3. That's where the masks come off. What about Oprah? Vanessa asked carefully. Marcus frowned. I saw her at a few events, early nights, big talk. Always left before the real madness started. Never saw her in Level 3. She might have been invited, but I don't think she knew what was really going on. Elijah leaned forward. But her name had a gold triangle. Marcus shrugged. Could be a test, could be a lie. I wouldn't put it past them to throw her name on there for leverage. Some of those lists were more about power than people. That theory echoed what Elijah feared the most, that the list wasn't just evidence, it was a weapon. As they drove back, Vanessa was quiet. Elijah could see the gears turning in her head. What if the first list was real? But the second one? A fake, he finished. Designed to confuse, misdirect, make everything suspect so no one believes anything. She nodded. Classic disinformation play. Overload the truth with noise. Later that night, another email came through their secure line, this one from someone calling themselves Athena. No attachments, just a message. The list you found is incomplete. There is another layer, buried deeper, the real list. Meet me in Oakland, Thursday, 9 p.m., Pier 19. It's a trap, Elijah muttered. Or the only real lead we have left, Vanessa countered. They argued. Every step they took pulled them deeper into a world where reality bent under the weight of secrets. But they went. Oakland was grey and cold that night. Pier 19 was empty, except for a woman in her 50s, hooded, smoking a cigarette with trembling fingers. She didn't give her name, but her voice was filled with quiet conviction. I used to manage finances for several VIP clients, offshore accounts, event funding, silent donations. I saw how the circle moved money, hid transactions, cleaned reputations, but they're turning on each other now. That list you have, it's bait. The real files are on a private server in Zurich. Do you have access? Vanessa asked. No, but I know who does. And they're scared. She handed them a slip of paper with a name and flight number, then disappeared into the fog. Elijah stared at the paper. Zurich? Vanessa smiled darkly. Looks like we're going international. The game was no longer about one list or one name. It was a global web, one built on fear, silence, and lies. And they had just found the thread to unravel it all. The flight to Zurich was long and quiet. Elijah and Vanessa barely spoke, each absorbed in their thoughts, eyes scanning encrypted documents, offline maps, and hand-drawn flowcharts. This was the point of no return. Zurich was a different world, clean, efficient, discreet. The city's banking sector was infamous for protecting secrets. If there was a place to hide the truth, this was it. They checked into a small hostel under aliases and made contact with the name Athena had given them, Dr. Hans Keller, a former IT consultant for a Swiss financial firm tied to high-profile entertainment accounts. He met them in a small cafe near the lake, eyes darting nervously. I don't want trouble, he began, but I can't carry this burden anymore. He slid a hard drive across the table. These are mirrored logs from 2020 to 2024. Client aliases, transaction IDs, encrypted video files. They backed up everything, thinking no one would ever get close. Elijah's hands trembled slightly as he took it. What's on here? Keller's voice dropped. Evidence, real names, footage, voice recordings, payments, and the full key to the symbol system. You'll finally understand what the gold triangle means. That night, back at the hostel, Vanessa began decrypting the drive. It was massive, dozens of terabytes, but one folder stood out. Circle Protocol, Level 3. Inside, video thumbnails with dates and masked faces, snippets of music, laughter, then darkness. Vanessa clicked on one. A lavish room, velvet curtains, a celebrity face blurred just enough to create doubt, an argument, then silence. This is beyond exploitation. This is ritualized manipulation, she whispered. But then came the most jarring moment, a folder marked Special Guests Initiation Observations. There was Oprah's name. Open it, Elijah said, breath shallow. Inside were 2 video files and a transcript. The videos showed nothing compromising, just Oprah arriving early at events, exchanging pleasantries, giving a toast, and leaving after an hour. The transcript, however, was chilling. Winfrey engaged as image anchor, symbolic presence to reinforce legitimacy, no exposure to Level 3. Observed, not inducted. She was used, Vanessa said. Her presence was a shield, to make the darkness look like light. Elijah sank into the chair. It confirmed what they'd feared. Oprah hadn't known, but her brand, her image, had been weaponized. The final document was a list of journalists and whistleblowers marked Threat Level Red. Elijah's name was there. Vanessa's too. They've been tracking us for months, she murmured. Suddenly, the hostel lights flickered. A car alarm blared in the distance. A knock at the door. Elijah grabbed the hard drive and stuffed it into a lead-lined case. Vanessa shut down the laptop. They didn't speak. They ran, Through narrow Zurich alleys, down train station stairs onto the first outbound rail. The air was cold, but their blood ran colder. They made it to Paris by morning, exhausted, wired, alive. 3 days later, they returned to the US, hidden behind false IDs. The moment they landed, they went straight to a secured media contact at a trusted international outlet. The story would be published in full, verified, contextualized, undeniable. "We can still pull back," Vanessa said. "Walk away. Let someone else take it." Elijah looked at her, eyes hard. "We started this. We finish it. People deserve to know." The report went live the next day. The world changed in hours. But they knew the real storm was just beginning. The story dropped at dawn. The headline alone sent shockwaves across every platform. The circle exposed. Secret network behind elite entertainment revealed. Within minutes, servers crashed from the traffic. News anchors scrambled to catch up. Governments demanded answers. The public reaction was instant and explosive. Social media lit up with disbelief, rage, confusion. Protests erupted in Los Angeles, New York, London. Hashtags trended worldwide. For the first time, people weren't just talking about conspiracy theories. They were reading receipts, watching decrypted videos, seeing names they had trusted fall into the shadows. And Oprah. Her name spread like wildfire. Commentators speculated, critics sharpened their knives, and loyal fans held their breath. Then, in a live broadcast seen by over 30 million people, Oprah sat down in her garden, alone. "I've always tried to use my voice to uplift others," she began, her voice steady. "I was invited to events I believed were philanthropic, creative, hopeful. I never witnessed or participated in anything criminal. But I now understand that my presence was used, perhaps even manipulated. And for that I am deeply shaken." She paused, eyes moist. "I will cooperate with any investigation. I have nothing to hide, and I want the truth to come out, no matter how painful." The reaction was split. Some forgave her instantly, convinced of her sincerity. Others weren't so quick to believe, but one thing was certain: her image would never be the same again. As for Diddy, he vanished from public view. His properties were raided, warrants were issued. Former staff began speaking up, slowly but surely, piecing together decades of hidden patterns. Lawsuits piled up, sponsors fled. His empire, once untouchable, now crumbled under the weight of accountability. Other names from the list followed suit. Some denied, some disappeared, and a few defiantly counterattacked through legal channels. But the tide had shifted. In a hidden cabin in Colorado, Elijah and Vanessa watched the world react. "We did it," she whispered, staring at the screen. "We cracked the silence." Elijah didn't answer at first. He was reading the latest articles, emails, messages from people thanking them, and others warning them. "We opened a wound," he finally said, "but it had to bleed to heal." They knew their lives would never return to normal. They'd made powerful enemies, but they had also sparked a global awakening. Suddenly, the elite were being scrutinized. The press was emboldened, survivors were being heard. And maybe, just maybe, justice was beginning to find its way through the noise. They sat together in the twilight, the laptop screen glowing softly in the dark room. "You think it ends here?" Vanessa asked. Elijah shook his head. "No, this is just one circle. There are others, everywhere. But we've shown the world how to fight back." He stood and stretched. "Let's get ready. The next tip will come. It always does." She smiled, exhausted but resolute. "When it does, we'll be ready." If this story shook you, subscribe now to stay ahead of the truth, and click on the next video showing right now to uncover more about the secrets of the elite, because justice has only just begun.